I gotta shut up. I just gotta let you go,
No.
girl.
No, it's all good. Well, actually, so I'm so glad that you said that, because I'll tell you, I don't know anybody who has been on a spiritual journey that at some point wasn't like, get me off this planet, I'm done. Right? So
Thank you.
especially if you're doing the work, you will probably have one of those moments, if not many, right? Some of them may be little minor ones, and some of them you can call them like the dark night of the soul, where you're really in the muck and the mire and it just does not feel good to be here. But there's always a learning. And I think it's your motto that says something about with every descent, there's a rising. That's so
Yes.
true. Like every time we go into that, there's like, for me, the way that I interpret that is it's the refinement by the fire, right? So like when we go through those trials or tribulations or the muck and the mire, whatever you want to call that, we get refined, right? We refine by looking at what are the emotions that we're having. We look at what can we learn from this. We look at what is this teaching me? Because inevitably, if you're doing this self work and you're on a soul journey, the whole idea is to be better of who you are, right? So you're not blaming anybody else. You're not judging anything that's coming up, but you're looking at it like, what is this teaching me? Is this teaching me that I can have more patience? Is this teaching me that I'm aiming for perfection when perfection isn't even reality? Is it showing me that I'm too hard on myself? Is it showing me that I need to accept other people? Is it showing me I need to have non-judgment? Like there's so many different things that can be showing up. Sometimes it's speaking up, right? So because part of our job sometimes is to speak up and say, hey, what's going on? Are you okay? What's going on? Right? Through that. So just know, whoever's watching, like if you guys go through that, it is normal and it is okay. And reach out to somebody because you don't have to go through it alone. The second part of that question, let's see, where were we going with that? Now I'm trying to recenter to where I was. So yeah, we all go through some part of that, right? As far as the timelines and dimensions and this quantum jumping stuff, it's really, really hard to wrap your human brain around it. So to me, this is where faith comes in. You have to have this faith beyond all understanding, and you've just got to trust it, because I don't understand quantum physics. I don't understand quantum mathematics. I don't understand any of the science behind it, but I know that there is science that is proving these quantum theories. Okay. I don't get it. I have to just go, okay, I'm going to have faith and trust. But what they were showing me, what my guides were showing me the other day was, like, I don't know what it's called now. It used to be the mousetrap there in Denver, where there's like all the different layers of the road. So like you would go this way to go on 270, and you'd go the other way to take, 70 east, and you'd go this way to get on I-25. And you know how all of those roads kind of overlap. And I don't know what that's called when the highways are stacked like that. But they were showing me all of these different highways that are all, so like multiple layers of highways, and that we're coming into spiritual alignment where we don't need as much of the other experiences as much, and we can streamline, and so we can merge timelines. And the only thing that made sense to me was understanding that we have free will, we can experience what we want to experience, and because of the way that the earth is, people are being called to awaken to things that they probably never would have imagined. And so what my guides had said, and this is on the part of the Ascension Club that you heard the message on, was align yourself with your highest and best divine timeline. So what you would want to intentionally set is, what is the highest and best for my spiritual growth, my journey, my ascension process, like whatever you want to say there. And you could even say, you know what, this has been a rough road and I want to align with the easiest one. Like, I don't even care. I just want, but know that with the soul journey and soul evolution, you may have to redo this lesson. That'd be the only thing that I would say is ask for the highest and best for your spiritual growth, your soul journey, your ascension. But honestly, you have free will. So if you need to say, I need to align with the easiest, then that's okay too.
And that's what I did. As I said, okay, I want the highest and best, but I do want it easier, please. And things moved. And it was a shift that I realized that maybe I was possibly on a harder timeline than I actually was required to be on. Maybe I was making it harder on myself because of, and I've been playing with some things, learning from your just the inspiration you gave me, how to do some timeline readings for myself and to be able to run up and down those layers a little bit and see some of the anomalies. I think I didn't say that right, but anomalies and the core values that seem to run through each other of the other timelines. And then I was actually able to get my heart to go, okay, then we want to go with the better, because in the one I'm thinking of, there were a lot of hearts, but there were a couple of other other things that were a little different. And I said, okay, I want more of that unconditional love as I blend these timelines into something that is more workable for me in this current path that I want to keep going on. So it was interesting, really fun.
It's been really interesting. And I apologize again. I looked down. I keep getting a little bit of a delay on me and you, but it looks like it's coming through fine on Facebook. So I'm cheating and reading the captions that are coming up.
Same here.
So
I've had to go, oh my gosh. I've interrupted you at sometimes.
No, not at all. I was like, I'm going to read and see what she's saying because it totally just went out on my end of the computer. But it looks like it's going through fine on Facebook, so that's good. Yeah, so as far as, I think there's so many things that we make it harder on ourselves than it needs to be. I think there's some generational, been proven that it gets generationally passed down in our DNA, some of these things, right? So like if you had like family that really struggled in ancient times and there was feast or famine and they were in the famine, you may still have that energy in your DNA, that's kind of your original blueprint, but you can actually change that by becoming aware of that generational pattern. And again, this is where the timelines and the quantum stuff all comes into play. And even though I don't really scientifically understand it, I know in my heart how it feels and how to speak to it in a way that, whether this is a past life issue for you personally, or if it's a generational thing that's been passed down in your DNA, or if it's just sometimes it's generational based on the area that you are from, you know what I mean? So there's all of these different things at play that keep us stuck in this pattern of life is hard. And really, to get good grades, you've got to work hard to make money. You've got to work hard to make everything work right. Like that's something that's imprinted into us, not only in generations past, not only in the family group we grew up in, but in the whole collective of how the humanity operates right now, right? So there's this whole theme. And I feel like that's really part of what we're awakening to understand and break the cycles of.